Welcome back to the Electrify podcast, brought to you by the creators of Electrify Expo, North America's largest EV festival, coming to a major city near you. Look at this guy, the glowing personality. I got to turn down the brightness. Just his glow. One, his sweatshirt, but also the glow he has, his smile, very infectious, contagious vibe between him and his family and what he's got cooking. And also, you can catch the electric vibe literally and figuratively at the Electrify Showoff. Now, this is an expansion of, as we know, Electrify Expo, Electrify News, electrify your life with some show off, baby. And we're talking about getting some EVs customized, but also right out of the gate, let's get to it. My man has kicks of the show. I see you and your chunky donkeys. I see you flexing on everybody. I'm just going to call you out. Are they real?
Yeah, but dude, you've known me how long? I don't wear shoes, so it's new. Colin got me into shoes. I think shattered backboards were my first pair 2, 3 years ago. I still have sandals. I still wear them on Friday during setup, but you know how it's contagious. I just got
Yeah.
a new pair for my birthday last week, some Hawaii dunks I'd never seen.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh, they
Expo.
from Kicks Hawaii. Do they have like a tweed pattern on them with the green?
No, there's 3 styles,
Oh,
but I got the patent leather black with
oh,
orange and some red, so, yeah,
sick.
I'm gonna try. I was thinking about on the car ride this morning, BJ to give me a little bit of a raise. I try to buy a new pair every show next year, so I need 8 new
Uh,
pairs. So BJ, if you're
okay.
listening, pony
Yeah.
up. But yes,
Okay.
sir.
Wow. There's a shoe budget now that Neil's
Yes,
requesting.
just for me.
I like it. Well, again, you do such a good job with Electrify Showoff, your partners, Yokohama, and what's going on. Again, basically, I kind of want to talk about what it is because you and I, as you say, we go way back.
Yes, sir.
You've been working with so many different people over the years, and now here's this season of doing this. Like, how did this come to be, and how would you define Electrify Showoff to people that they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's crazy because, like you said, we've known each other forever. Ford out front when you scream Chin Brothers like a crazy person. I respect you and your wife and your kids, and I watch you. So for us, it was same thing how with you with BJ. I've known him since I think the mid '90s. We used
Hmm.
to see, when he was with McGuire's, Stellantis, Sean Carlson. Rest
Yep.
in peace. We used to
RIP.
NDRA, Naira. So it's been a minute, and doing other shows. And last year at SEMA, BJ conned me in a corner and it's like, come out to Austin. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm exhausted seeing you guys and everybody at SEMA. And he bought me a plane ticket to Austin. I told May, I had no idea what was going on. We went to the first expo in the Great Park here in Orange County. Super dope. Was only, he said, 2.5 years ago. I took the kids, met the boys from Super, Drew, bought my first of now 8 bikes,
Yeah.
jerks, buy bikes. And I went to Austin, saw BJ, Peter McGovry, who's on our team,
Hmm.
and he's like, "Walk the show, come back and give me your take." Like, sure. And out of nowhere,
Yeah.
he's like, "Can you build Showoff from scratch, from nothing?" I'm like, "What's this Showoff thing?" And we sat down for a couple hours, had a vision, and 5 months later, it it debuted in Long Beach. And you've been through it. It was,
Yeah.
excuse my language, a crap ton of work.
Yeah.
But it's getting better and better. We're 5 in, and every show it keeps getting better.
And I think that's just a testament to, I always say, you can't duplicate equity. So here's your equity. You've seen some things between, obviously ICE and just car shows in general. And I always thought
Yes,
that
sir.
the funniest thing, and from our where we cut our teeth was like hot import nights, right? Obviously import show off was the OG. So there's a little
Yep,
hat tip to the OG. Shout out Ken Miyoshi, and
yep.
again talk about Sean Carlson and just those people that have been around. Even the Bergenholtz. Just I remember just all of it. So
Yes,
go
sir.
ahead and do your history lesson there. But that's kind of what we're doing is creating this. You and I are fathers, and there's a lot of people out there that we went to breakfast yesterday, and the waitress, I was like, all right, I'm not going to ask your age, but when's the last, did you ever buy a cassette? She says, what the heck's a cassette? So, so
Yes.
and then they're on the cusp of not even knowing what a CD is,
Nope.
right? I mean,
Yes, sir.
Tyson barely doesn't know because now video games, you don't need the game anymore. You just download the dang thing. So all that being said is don't hate, congratulate. And I think that's where your philosophies come into play. Adopting EVs, talking about Super 73, but then applying what you know and where you grew up and taking your DNA and equity and then putting that special sauce on Electrify. And that's Electrify Showoff. So I'm seeing
Yes,
you
sir.
customize if it is a Lightning or if it is an EV, if it, whatever. And again, even your bikes, if it's a Jackrabbit, if it's a Super 73 or whatever it might be, there's so many different options out there. Am I correct in saying, like, I feel like that's where it's at?
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. I think when I say we, like you said, the OGs, I feel like we're where the tuner scene was in the 90s. And I grew up in Miami, so it was different. It was like, you're building a Civic, you're building a 240. Why? And I hate the term, but it was rice rockets, back in the 90s. And this was
Yep.
us in high school. And
Oh
that's when
yeah.
I met DJ when we worked for NDR and Ira. We did all their tech. So, oh, Steph, he's another OG. You can't go nines. I talked to BC on Friday, and you follow him on Instagram now. It's
Yep.
like he's getting a little bit of hate on the EV space, and I guess I've been fortunate. I haven't really got it. I guess maybe because of the director of Showoff, but I talked to BC and we have lunch, and we're like, it's the same thing to me. I get the ice. I get the 800 supercharged motors. I had a 1200 horsepower Skyline, and
Mhm.
I'm not going to say it because it's me. I love my Lightning. I built so many F-150s for Ford. It was like, oh, but you want to hear the exhaust. And I was going to a basketball game with Colin yesterday, and there was a Mustang next to us. Jared, so loud. It was rumbling my Lightning. Colin's like, and I
Oh
get
no,
it.
is it too loud? Are you too old now? Oh
I
no.
am. And he's 15, and he's like, oh, I want my 240 to sound like this. And I'm like, bro, we're on the 405, and I can hear it on the way to the game. So maybe I'm a little older, but I see that's where we are now. And that's what we do at Showoff. People are like, you can't customize an EV. My Lightning is my F-150
Mhm.
without the motor. Air suspension, big brakes, 24s, full interior. What's the difference? Oh, it
Yeah.
doesn't make noise. And I get it, and that's the only difference. But when you come to our shows, like you said, we brought in the culture. Same thing you live in. I love sports. I
Mhm.
love cars. I love shoes. Remember back in the day, shout out to Andy Williamson, when we
Yeah,
had
of course.
C16 and HCI, and it was about cool clothes and cool gear.
Mhm.
And it's
Mhm.
coming back. Tattoos, I'm not
Yeah,
like you guys.
congrats.
I got my
Was that your
first one
first? I saw
first.
that at the show off, and that is
And
exactly what I'm talking about. That is that evolution and you
yeah,
adopting. We had the ruined guys on here, which they're obviously major proponents of ruining their car, which I just always get a chuckle out of it.
yeah,
And had BC on the podcast. So this is just where we're going. And when BJ tapped me, and just like it sounds very familiar, he says, "Hey man,"
yes,
I'm
sir.
like, "Look, I'm new to the EV space. Like I've definitely driven them. They're awesome. Announcing car races with either Travis Reeder with the Napoleon Motorsports first ever electric drift car to Randy Popst and
Yeah,
him going up Pikes Peak. I announced Nitrocross FC1X 1,000 horsepower all electric. We're surrounded by it. You can't deny it. That's why I say don't hate, congratulate. Just be part of it. And if you
yep,
don't, just shut up. It's okay. You don't have to like every single, like my buddy showed me some music yesterday. I was like, don't love it. But hey, I see why people like it, but it's not my flavor. I
yep,
love yacht rock. Like I'm listening to this dude, Paul Cherry, right now. Amazing, super good vibes. I just put him on Instagram. I'm DMing with him. But things like grid life, right? And things can coincide. And now for me, it's like I'm trying to make sure all my ducks in a row, that Formula Drift, grid life, Nitro Cross, Pikes Peak, Goodwood Festival Speed, all these events coincide. So I can just
yeah,
go to all of them. And then now my son is doing what I do, announcing and emceeing. So it's a beautiful thing, man. And again, I think for again people listening to this is I like the equity that you've put into this, and Neil, you, and like I said, your family. We're not going to go to a super big deep history lesson here, but I think it starts with that one seed that was planted. Like you said, you're a Florida kid, I'm a California kid,
yep,
and you could still get down because you pull that membership card. You're like, hey, I customize cars. All right, well, boom, you're not pulling a membership card unless somebody's in that. Start talking
yep,
sneakers to
yep,
non-sneakerhead. They're like, what are you talking about, dude? You're speaking Greek. So
yep.
I think you've just done a good job of taking all these passions that you have, including Colin and basketball. And obviously,
Thank you.
for those watching this, you can see these basketballs behind you, and
Yeah.
just that passion, that dedication, and weaving it all together, just creating this awesome fabric.
Yeah, no, it's everything you said, and that's the crazy thing about our team. BJ has done. I told him it's like basketball. He's putting the dream team together,
That's
and
cool.
you coming on board. We have so many friends in common. I was even thinking about. I mean, I'm honored to be on the podcast with you, but like even like Vaughn,
Yeah.
who we've known before he became Mr. Big
Right.
Time. I'm sure he'll see this when he was drifting, and he's always been cool to Colin. I mean, Colin's been in more drift cars with Vaughn than I have, and then the 1400 was a game changer. He built that when we built our Mach E, and now at Showoff at Expo, there's the 1400, which even our plan with BJ when he hired me, we had a 3 to 5 year plan, and it
Yeah.
was Ford out front, which you host among your 74 million other things. And it was like, BJ, we need drifting, we need rallycross, Travis with nitro, and all of a sudden Ford came in like 2 shows later. I'm like, all right, so much for 2 years, and we'll keep building that, and then we have Colette driving. I text Vaughn on the side. I'm like, Colette kicks your ass. You take
Oh man,
you
come on.
taking me indoors. We'll film a video. But it's fun because it's cool to, like you said, it's all of our friends,
Mhm.
all the people we grew up with. It's the next evolution. Vaughn has young kids. Our kids are a little bit older, but those are the people that are going to continue the torch. I
Yeah.
think you and me will always work. We tell our families, I'm going to retire. May laughs at me. I can't even turn my phone off. But I think our kids get to experience what we do. Your son is now following your footsteps.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be the greatest feeling, seeing him
Yeah.
at events with you.
Yeah, it's absolutely unique. And again, it's just the access, and we've been blessed. I'm a junior college dropout, but it's, it's really important to just, again, give them that opportunity. Also listen too, for the youth. I guess we're kind of going into how we did get started and how where we're at and you're where you're at, so there's just these things that intertwine, if it's SEMA show and all that stuff. Did I ever tell you that when I first met my wife at SEMA show in 1999, and it
Yes,
was
I
10
worked
of
with her
us
in
in a hotel
McGuire's.
room with Rodney Wills and the gang, Chuck Adami, and I'm skateboarding down
Jeez.
Flamingo. I meet this girl, who's now my wife, so don't get weird about it. But she had to go
Yeah,
to this banquet in 99. I was like, what is this SEMA banquet? Well, fast forward to now, your boy is the voice of SEMA show, and I'm announcing that said banquet. So it's just like full circle, and I love that. And it is just contributing to and again, just listen. Again, my oldest son, he's he shows me some things, and I show him a lot of things, and it's just that worldly aspect. So what, we kind of talk about, I always like to say past, present, future, but so present is kind of, as you say, I always hate to acknowledge the haters, but haters are fans in denial. So that being said, is um what's on the horizon for Electrify Showoff? Like, what do you like? Again, the tattoos, like, I'm in, like, my
yeah.
body's a passport, so me, I'm covered, so I'm
No, it's
ready.
awesome. Yeah, my
But
nephew
what's
Tyler
next?
is yeah, Tyler's our social manager. He gets a tattoo everywhere. But no, we're very fortunate and blessed to continue pushing forward. We have 8 shows next year. I think I'm allowed to say it. We're going to Denver, so that'll be cool. We're going to Phoenix, and for Showoff, it's just continuing to build it. The cars are getting better. I do think we're at the beginning stages. 2 years ago, my Mach E was way different than last year, my Lightning. As we continue to build it with AJ and CJ and the Ruin guys, BC is killing it. He's coming to Miami. I think he's got 6 EVs,
Mhm.
all conversions. You'll like this. He's doing a race car, Tesla Plaid
Yeah.
that is debuting in Miami. So, but I
Okay.
made fun of him. He could only go straight, he told me, because I was trying to get it on the Coda racetrack. And he's like, Neil, I got to go straight. I got to stay with my roots. But, and then, like you said, with Showoff, more vendors. You're an overland guy as well. We're going to
Yeah.
bring in the overland section, talk to Tyler from Thule, different partners. So
Yep.
overlanding like my Lightning will be cool. We just built a hybrid Tundra that's decked out. That Sleep 6. That'll be in Austin. And then, like I said, on the Thrill Zone, just like like we've done with Ford Outside,
Mhm.
bring besides hopefully get Vaughn there. He's as busy as we are.
Yeah.
So, he's been doing Formula Drift, which has been, conflict in dates, but would love for Vaughn to experience what we do. and he's a big component of it. So is Travis. You know, Yokohama's been awesome. Candace and that team, they are really buying into the EV space. So, man, it just keeps getting more fun. Every show we do something new. We've got the barber coming. I don't need a haircut, but you know, we've got the barber coming. We're bringing metal fabricators who are doing restorations. And that's the thing, it's education is key. When we were the
Yeah.
editor of HCI, people need to understand what's possible. I still think, like you said, I don't like giving the haters as much love. I think I see it more in basketball, but I get what you're saying. And you're the same way.
Yeah.
Like I laughed, I did one and they don't really do it to me, but they call Teslas toasters. And I told BJ, I have no idea what the frick that means. What? I'm not driving a toaster, dickheads.
Mm-mm.
Oh, bleep that out. My Mach E won best of show, and I drive it to practice. And people are
Mhm.
like, you can't drive your Mach E to Collins. Why not? It's the same as Gene's Mustang. He's got to put gas. I just charge mine. So, in that retrospect, but at shows, it's been very respectful. We invite a lot of the influencers into the show. John Naderi came to
Mhm.
Long Beach. He's still killing it. I think he's
Mhm.
doing what he does. His son plays basketball, so
Yep.
crossover. I see him at games, but he came to Long Beach. Rye Wire, who you've had, Ryan, who we've known forever, who did Wire Tucks at Week Fest.
Mhm.
So, God, we know. I mean, we're very fortunate. We have some great
Yeah.
friends. I respect the heck out of you and your family. And you've been married. What are you on now? In the 20s, right?
21. 21
Yeah,
years. Yep.
I'm at 23. I don't know
Yep.
how they I don't know how they put up with us, but they let us do
I
what
do
we
because
do.
we're amazing people. Gotta
We are.
gotta gotta elevate yourself, baby.
Yeah,
You know?
thank you, wives. You know, but they let us travel. I'm sure yours too. They hold down the fort when we're building cars, when we're traveling. So, BJ's family too, man. I don't know if you follow his wife on Instagram. She posts as much as we do, and it drives BJ crazy because I know what he does when he works his butt off and then he gets to unwind. But so, like I said, the future is bright. As corny as it sounds, it is electric, and the OEMs are buying in. I think that's the
Mhm.
thing too about Expo. I think we're up to 14, 15 OEMs. We know what I mean, we have more than some auto shows.
Yeah.
And we worked our butts off. We just brought in Porsche. It took me a minute, but I'm super proud of that. Porsche is on board coming back next year. So, and then like Ford, they're buying in. That's a big partner of yours and
Yeah.
mine. They're at all our shows. They're starting to customize more. They're traveling the country. So I think it's exciting. And that's what I'm most excited for, is to see what the future holds.
Yeah, and you kinda cut into the OEs. I think that's always kind of a good indication of where the market's going, and
Yes, sir.
some really dove in head first, which, coincidentally, Dodge did the most, but I don't know if they're activating an expo, but they did the most, and they were doing I mean, I've always asked I remember do you remember Fly, Andrew Tipping? Fly, I asked him
Yes.
years ago, I said, "What's the most like aggressive manufacturer?" And he's like, "Dude, if you think about it, it's like Plymouth Dodge." Like they
Yeah.
did, you might not love it, but like a PT Cruiser, a Prowler, a Dodge Viper, like they made some of the most like wild cars on a
Yeah.
on a on a big production level, as opposed to like obviously supercars. You get your McLarens, you get even Lotus or something like that. But Dodge going EV, and Toyota's kind of like, nah, we're not going full. But I mean, Toyota developed the hybrid, and now all these other manufacturers. And you talk about Overland. Before I forget,
Yeah.
my buddy makes 12-volt AC units for overlanding. It's called Cruise and Comfort. So shout out to
Yeah.
Chris Fry. He linked me up with a builder down in San Diego called Rogue Vans. And Santiago, really good dude. Talking to him, he's got a really cool project. It is ICE, but he is going to receive the first EV Mercedes van in San Diego to develop that. And
See?
it's sick. And like the build quality that he has, there's so many out there, right? It's kind of like EV, like overlanding. It's developing. The products are getting more efficient. They're
Yep.
getting more refined. It's kind of like drifting, where parts weren't readily available. Now more cars are coming into play. This is just that evolution of education. Also, like rapid prototyping, 3D modeling, all of that contributes. And that's where like BC, that's where having him on the podcast, I love his candor, his accent, but then his passion for it, and him being honest and transparent. He's like, no, that's just no. I need fuel. I need petrol. I need viscosity. And then
Yeah.
he's like, oh, I'm gonna apply all my previous education knowledge to this EV world. And that's what I love about BC, of just being like, all right, you know what, you got me. It's pretty sick.
Yeah. He's between
He's
me and
all
him,
in.
he's the smart one. When I talk to him, I have to really lock in. But yeah, like you
Mm-hmm,
said, the van, like Santiago's doing, that's where Showoff's going. You know,
mm-hmm.
it's a couple of Land Cruisers, which I know you and me are big fans of, that
Yep.
we built. Those are going conversion. And like you said, you still cared. Why would you do that? But I also look at it this way. We did a lot of LS motors. And when
Mm-hmm.
I worked at Vortec, it was like, yes, those are cool. But we got to try to, I think, mix it up. And you'll laugh at this one. And this is probably where I'll get my first hate. I've got another four-door R34.
Okay.
I'm doing an S15 with Colin and a 2002 BMW. I want to make them EV. I'll be honest with you, they're not affordable yet. Even
Mm-hmm.
with our connections, they're still pretty pricey,
Yep.
just like shoes. But people are like, oh, you can't make your R34 EV. I'm like, I've had the RB26, 1200 horsepower. Honestly, I couldn't drive it.
It's not
I
even fun to
started,
drive.
you start in your driveway, and my neighbors think what are you doing? So it's just mixing it up, doing something different. But I don't know if you saw in Seattle, we had probably 10 to 15 conversions.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike from Conductive with the 64 Galaxy won Best of Show. Super clean. He did an old school van, looked like a Scooby Doo van. And there's going to be more. We have a ton coming to Austin, a couple coming to Miami. So that progression is going to be really cool. And then I hope in your world, another friend of ours, Jim and Ryan from FD,
Yep.
you know, Colin loves drifting. That's your world. I can't wait to see other sports evolve. And drag racing, like you said, in the 90s, no one wanted a Civic on the track.
Mm-mm.
What is Steph doing? What's
Right.
Sean doing? Why is Ben Ma
Yep.
racing a Focus? Okay. And look what
Mm-hmm.
it turned into. So that's going to be exciting to see. And it's going to be cool watching you host these things. Like I said, I follow your Instagram and you're all over the place and you're hyped.
Trying.
Just say what you talked about
Trying.
sports, even golf. I see you on the golf. It's the same way I get hyped about basketball. It's everything we do. It gets other people excited. And I think that's the best part about, fortunately, what we get to do. It's our passion. And I think people see that.
And it's quick to just discredit because it might be scary to you. Like that's again back to the music thing. Give it 3 full spins and see if you don't like. I grew up loving Kings of Leon and John Mayer, right? Like
Yeah.
When my wife and I got married, we listened to John Mayer's album the whole time. When you go on trips, I listen to one album the whole time. So then it's that sensory overload, that smell of, it could be Molly Sadas or, Moco Loco, right? Or when you go to Hawaii. So like we listen to
Yeah.
Jack Johnson the whole time, right? This new album drops, listen the whole time. It's that sensory overload. And I think that if you listen to an album, if you give it a try, if and you might not like it at the end of the day, but you gotta taste it. You gotta feel it. You gotta envelop. So I say Kings Leon and John Mayer because Kings Leon, they'll admit they were like, we were not great musicians, but now they've grown up and developed. People are like, I want the old Kings Leon. I'm like, they've grown up. Like that is a different time, And then John Mayer, look at how he's progressed. Early
Yeah.
on, he was adopted by Eric Clapton, and Clapton tapped him, kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger shaking hands with The Rock in a movie. That was the passing of the torch. I can't remember what movie it was, but it happened, and it's just passing his torch. So there's a SNL skit called Cro-Magnon Lawyer. He's like, I'm frightened and bewildered by your machines. And it's just a funny thing. Anyways, bad reference. That's what I do. I just reference pop culture stuff all day long.
Hey, it works.
So it's just it's scary and frightening new world. And I think what's cool about it is you are making it digestible and familiar with the customization, like, phones, right? So I saw Magback, they're a massive cell phone cover company, right?
Yeah.
They made Tesla wheel covers. So have you seen that?
Yes.
Like it's not, they're not wheels. It's nothing crazy,
It's
but
just
they make
yeah.
covers. And I was like, wouldn't have never have thought of that. But that's the consumer and Magback understanding that that's the consumer that they will get. They'll own a Magback. They'll buy those wheels. And I always say, in regards to that project and that product, I would say, make the toilet paper, not the toilet. You're going to go through way
Yes.
more toilet paper than you will the toilet. So make
It's
the
just smart.
TP.
Yeah, it's just smart.
So, and the customization's getting great too. I mean, from the body kits now and what's going on, and the Ruin guys making that custom metal kit, and it's not offensive. It's again little digestible.
Yeah,
At Hot Wheels Legends this last weekend, in Arizona,
yeah.
Legacy EV, I believe it is.
Yes, out of
A
Phoenix. Yes, sir.
dope, yeah, the white Cadillac,
Yep.
massive. I mean, the thing's got to weigh a ton with the batteries, and it's got about 150-mile range. But that car, even at ice, you don't want to drive it that far. And that's what I really loved. If you want to, again, we're referencing all over, but Matt Farah's
Yeah.
podcast, I really
Yeah.
liked what he said in regards to, it's gonna a particular Cadillac. It just had a big V8 or just this big, and you smell. But if you think about it, a dope '64 Impala Cadillac, just those big sleds, it's going to be a better experience, as you said earlier, to have it be quiet. Then you get to drive along PCH and you just hear
And enjoy.
the waves crashing and enjoy. And you got your jams. You don't even need big speakers. You just right. That's just
Yeah,
a
it's just
whole new experience.
yeah, it's different than when we grew up. Like I used to cruise South Beach in Miami, like you said, loud music. It's funny, a friend came down to pick up the Tundra and they live in the UP and they go hunting.
Mm,
And now they're making all their snowboards and snow machines EV. And he's like, we can ride next to deer and they don't hear us. I never put that together. And he's like, we can, if you're on your normal snowmobile, it's loud and they run away. So, like you said, it's all about the sound. It's just different. And the customization, well, like you said, I think people just need to understand it's possible. And I love what you said about trying it. It's the same in sports. Sure, it's the same in dating. I've only been with May, so I
right,
haven't dated more than one. I know people think
right.
that's weird. I'm a one and done, but I'm sure it's in that world too. But the cool thing when you come to our show, it's not just show off, it's also the experience of the bikes. I know you're big into bikes. You're friends with Drew. You had Jason on the pod. And it was for us too when we went to the great part. It was like, can you ride the bikes? And then the cool part, can you customize the bikes? Yes. Same thing like a car. I mean, we have boats at show
Yeah.
off. We have trailers. We have race cars. Uh, don't laugh. In Miami, I got a lawnmower service with customized EV lawnmowers. I have no idea what it's going to be, but he's bringing out 2 or 3 lawnmowers. So it's just people expanding, experimenting. And I think that's the cool part because why not? I was thinking about Rywire. Look at him.
Mhm.
He was the OG in the Civic world. Same with BC. Now he's trying to produce kits for the Civics. And again, not everybody's going to like it. Oh, you need to put a K series. Fortune, my younger brother, big crybaby, can't do it. I'm making him come to Miami. Put his butt in a Taycan or in a plaid, and like you said, at least experience it, drive the Lightning, um, and see what it's like. And
Yep.
I was thinking about Rodney. You were just saying he used to come down to Miami TMR days and shoot the TL and stuff like that. And they're expanding. EV Buyer's Guide is looking into doing more features. And I think it's just making the world aware of what we
Mhm.
do. And I respect BJ for that because he was like us. You've heard his interviews. It was
Mhm.
all about the petrol and the loud noise. I could copy his whole interview. I tell him I do his interviews when he's gone. And now he gave us a chance to show people the next wave. That's what like you said. EVs is the next wave, and you're either going to jump on board or you're going to be stuck on your cassettes. Downloading video games. I'm like, Colin, let's go to GameStop and buy NBA. He's like, no, you download it. I'm like, what does that even mean? And if I don't adapt, I'm stuck in the 90s. NBA,
Mhm.
Jordan
Okay,
versus
boomer.
Bird. Yeah, no, it doesn't work anymore, Dad. You just watch. Doot. So that's the thing with our space. You're either gonna love it or hate it. But we've been very fortunate, like I said, where there's been a lot of love. Um, I haven't been told I drive a toaster yet, because I'll probably look at him like you're an idiot. And BJ gets mad. He's like, "Leave him. You don't have to." I'm like, "No, I don't drive a toaster. I
But
drive
your
a Lightning."
Lightning's sick. Like, I mean, I see 'em, I'm like, "Oh, they look good." Like, They did the right amount where it's not totally offensive, but like the front lights, the tailgate, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's a Lightning, and the frunk and all that, and like again, and Matt Farah referencing his at Pikes Peak Hill Climb, super loved at. Super early. Tanner Faust and I hosted. It was not 23, but 22. Woke up super early and we went up there, and there's Farah cooking breakfast sandwiches in the frunk for everybody.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I love this. This is so good because I saw him like the week prior. Oh, we're driving the Lightning out, and and again, rising tide lifts all ships. So I think it's just education,
Yeah.
again, I love what you're doing. I wanted to grab a moment of your time. I know we're all busy, but we're kind of reminiscing here, but also I don't know, future reminiscing a little bit because I always say, with drifting, I mean, here's Formula Drift. So proud of it. I just put up a post literally right before we came on, and it's celebrating 20 years of Formula Drift. Holy crap! Like,
That is
and
amazing.
I mean, I'm 20,000 miles away from hitting 200,000 this year. So status again, baby, get that first class upgrade. But all that being said
Yes.
is, people are like, oh, that's the good old days. I'm like, okay, go watch some of those runs. And yes, I might sound really excited, but by comparison, it was exciting and it is,
Yeah.
and it will always be. But what I always say is make today a good old day. You have an opportunity to make today a good old day. At some point, I mean, isn't every photo on Instagram a throwback? I mean, you
Yeah,
just
pretty
took that
much.
photo. It's not just throwback Thursday, it's throwback right now. So make
Yeah.
today a good old day, and you have that opportunity to go drive that car, experience that car. I mean, I drive a Tundra, and I was gonna get a Bronco, and I'm not all in on EV, just given driving and this and that scenario,
Yeah.
1950s house. I want to experience it, and I need to. I just need to be home longer than 2 days, and then we could do it. But I think you can make today a good old day, and somebody will look back like, I remember that first time, and that was like PC's experience. So if you're
Yes.
looking for that aha moment from somebody who is wildly intelligent and somebody that was wildly adamant about not going EV. He's somebody that could be like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should give it a try. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not, it's like sushi. Like our palates have been refined. You're born with all of your taste indicators, your sweet, your sour, all that. That's why as a
Yeah.
kid, your sweet goes away. Now you just want like mustard and all this. Didn't like uni as a kid. Literally in Arizona, Atlanta, I'm like, bro, we got to go to my boy Nelson Meat and Fish. He's got bomb oysters and then cracked open the uni. I'm like eating the
Yeah.
brain.
Totally
I mean,
different.
sorry if you're like if you're listening to this, we talked about hunting, we talked about, but now
Yeah.
your palate's getting more refined and more interesting, right? So everybody's
Well,
palate changes every day.
you gotta be diverse. And I think what you said, I don't even think I ever told you this. I met Ryan and Jim when they had Slipstream
Oh
back
yeah.
in,
Oh
Daytona
three.
Import Showoff, Daytona Beach. And Jim knows this. They were the first person to give me a check to bring my 240, my S 14.5. So I've
Yeah.
known them forever and I respect them too. Same as you. Look when they brought drifting over. And we had other series, and everybody's like, "What's this drifting thing? And this is stupid. And why do they make so much noise and smoke? Blah blah blah." And now it's like every kid, your son, my son, my wants to go drifting, wants to go to FD. Oh, April Long Beach kicks off our year. That's literally the kickoff, and that's the same thing with us. I don't know if BJ told you we went. We had the Thrill Zone in San Francisco, and there was a ton of smoke, and some people were livid.
Yeah.
What is this is a I don't even know. I'm not into politics. I'm not into
Yep.
trees. Oh my God, you're burning San Francisco. I'm like, what do you guys? It's a drift. It's Vaughn's car. Colette's doing burnouts. But now they're getting used to it. New York loved it.
Yep.
Oh my God, there's smoke all over Showoff. The lounge is on fire. But the first show, they didn't get it. And the
Right.
same thing with Jim and Ryan. They took a chance. And like you said, 20 years later,
Yeah.
it's it's different, but it's better, it's unique. There's different cars. Like when Vaughn started first, it was like it was super cool, and he was going against the Japanese drivers and Team America, and so I think I'm most excited. Hopefully, we are somewhat retired by then, but in 20 years, where's Showoff? Where's
Yeah.
BJ taking Expo? And what cars are out there?
Hmm.
And that's the most exciting part because I don't think in the 90s, when you met your wife and we're doing tuner cars, did we ever think we'd be where we are now? So it'll be exciting when our kids are in their 30s and we're
Yeah.
like, oh, damn, remember when we did this podcast in 2023? That's what gets me most excited because we don't know what the future holds. And like you said, today, I think it's how maybe you raise your kids, how I raise our kids. Enjoy today. Let's see where tomorrow takes us. Let's see when Miami takes us in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm excited the family will be there. All my guys who grew up back home doing Prelude swaps and H22As, they're like, what's this show off thing? What's this expo thing? I got 100 tickets. I invited them all my high school buddies, and let's go drive some Taycons and some Lightnings and see how fast the Plaid is. 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds. So it'll be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. This it feels good to talk about this. Just all the stuff. It's not even about EV. It's just about progression. That's really what it
Yeah,
is, and it's just so quick because it is so contrarian. It's so contrarian to what we've been exposed to. So even Harley Davidson launching Livewire, retracting
yeah,
that, and just launching the brand Livewire as opposed to that. And there's just things that are going as we speak right now. Manufacturers are like, okay, here's this. This is what we're gonna do. Um, it's really cool, and admittedly I like that it's not just we haven't brought up Tesla one. I mean, you said Plaid a couple times, but it's like
yeah,
it's not even about that. It's and I was with Jim Farley last week. That Mustang, the GTD
yeah.
Detroit
Detroit.
debut. Yeah, and Jim is they launched the Mustang Mach E Rally, which is going to compete in the Rebel Rally with Bailey
Yeah,
Campbell behind the wheel. Just those little nuggets, little appetizer, little bloomin' onion compared to a big filet mignon steak. You just need to get those little morsels, get them
yeah.
stuck in your teeth, and see if it
If you
tastes good
like
the
it.
second time too.
Well, I'll tell you just technically off the record, even though everybody's going to see this. 3 years
Nobody's
ago,
listening right now.
yeah, it's just you and me. We pitched an off-road rally safari Mach-E when I did my
Mm.
orange one. It was too ahead of its time. I'm winking. We're building one, and it's gonna be. And I might want either Travis or Vaughn to drive it, but it's big, it's wide, it's tall, it's got big wheels, and it's got a cage. It's got 84 lights. But it's the progression. 3 years
Yeah.
ago, Ford wasn't there yet, and I'm sure you remember Jim when he did back in the Scion days. He was back when we were doing the Scion Tuner Challenge. Gosh, we are old. And now it's like
And then Jim Farley
the
was there. Jim Farley,
yeah,
right? And like, yeah, I mean, he launched Scion. So look at that. Jim Farley launched
yeah.
Scion.
So
Yeah.
it's progressing, but 3 years ago, and now at Expo, you see the Mach-E team, you see the Lightning team. They're way more open to where they were 2, 3 years ago. They're like, you can't do what Porsche and Audi and Subaru are doing with the Mach-E. Then they build
Hold my
one.
beer. Hold my
Yeah,
beer.
now they build one. So that just shows you exactly what you said. The OEMs, CEOs, CMOs are seeing the change.
Mhm.
And if those guys do it and we continue to do what we're doing, I heard through the grapevine, our boy Vaughn is working on another cool project
Mhm.
in that space. So he's a trendsetter. He's an influencer. People respect him. So as he continues to do it, as Travis continues to do it, I mean, I'm not only saying it because it's you. As soon as I heard that, BJ locked you in, it was like, that's what we need because people respect you and you've been in so many different spaces around for a minute. And we've got friends in all these spaces that want to learn about this. He's a smart man. He knows who he's bringing together but it's good for our space. If we don't have
Mhm.
influencers and people as yourself that are respected, it could take 50 years. We're trying to do it in 3, 4, 5 years. So
Yeah.
it's an honor working with you
Oh,
and
thank you.
watching you do what you do, as a friend, as a you know, someone in the industry as you. So it's really awesome. And like I said, 20 years from now, we might have some more gray. We'll see what. Yeah,
I got a lot.
exactly. Yeah, we'll see where it takes us. But it's awesome.
Yeah. It is, and yeah, and I appreciate that. Thank you for those, and likewise seeing you and
Of course,
just
sir.
you have those people that hey, like we don't talk all the time, but when you see each other, How's it going? I see what you do, and that's the gift and the curse of social media. You know, my
Yes,
son
sir.
has it, my oldest, I should say, not my 9-year-old, but
Yeah.
it's the gift and the curse of, hey man, I saw that meal you ate the other day. Or, hey, that car the thing. What was that? What did you go? And that's I think what's really great about it. Yeah, and I'm super excited. And also I gotta say this, talking with Jim Farley about it, and like I said, Dodge kind of went EV really heavy, and here they launched that 1,000 horsepower drag car, blah, blah. Ford's like, no, we're still going ICE racing, like not ICE racing, but internal combustion
Yeah.
engine racing. We are still adamant about that. Going back to 12 hours Sebring, going back to Le Mans, like campaigning a legit car to go toe to toe with Porsche, but concurrently going towards that direction. So, and then that GTD, $300,000 supercar,
Yeah.
21-inch carbon ceramic brakes, 5.2-liter dry sump, active aero, $300,000 supercar, only 2,000 going to be made. I mean, that
Yeah.
thing's sick. So concurrently, right next to that is this Mach E rally, and I think
Yes.
that's great. And they're there. So, and again, next to your Lightning, next to again, there's going to be smaller, it's going to be bigger, but collect them all like Pokemon. So,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
man. Well, I appreciate everything you do. Anything else you want to add? I mean, we kind of bounced around in regards to your relationship with EV, which I think is great because you're on the forefront of customization, but also working with OEs and kind of doing this activation. And again, you're not completely committed to EV, with you and Colin building the drift car.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, it's just like I'm a car guy. I love cars. Same thing you said, music, sneakers. My playlist is even worse. I've got rap music, I've got Christian music, I've got reggae music. Colin's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like when you travel, I don't know. It goes from rap to Christian, but anyway, just enjoy it. Come out, experience it, like you said. At least give it a try. I try at Showoff to make everybody feel at home. Like you said, we don't see each other all the time, but it's mutual respect. We see each other at events. I'll try to text Vaughn. I see BC. Come out, enjoy it, see what it's all about. If it's not for you, I respect it, but I think you'll have a good time. We've got 2 more this year. We've got Miami in October. Austin is gonna be a banger.
Yeah.
We're gonna be on the
Yeah.
track. Eventually we'll see you out at some events. I know you're super busy, but and then next year we've got 8 more. We're gonna keep growing, and I'm always open. Same thing when I talk to you and the guys. We've been doing it forever, but I don't know everything. If we see something that's new, exciting from the partners, from fellow builders, come enjoy it. Come and ride e-bikes. Come and ride e-motorcycles. Um, Anything like that. We are all EV at the shows, but we love everybody.
Yeah.
From motorsports to overland to custom show cars. I became close with the Ruin guys. They continue to help push the envelope, and excited to go home in 2 weeks. Then we do have SEMA. Then we have Austin. So I don't know how you do it. I'm I'm already tired, but it'll be fun, and I look forward to seeing you on the road. And again, keep doing what you're doing as a dad. I think that's our other completely off the expo thing. That's our other blessing, teaching our kids
Mhm.
what we learned, learning from them, and making sure they become good role models for the next generation. We had that. Now we got to pass it on to them.
Yep. Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and that's admittedly, it's out there. My son's 17, but like Ken Block says, we let Parker get a Ken Block tattoo. Um,
Yeah.
won't tell you who tattooed him, but yeah. But shout out to
No,
KB. He says, just don't be an asshole. That's
yeah,
the
hey,
bottom line,
I
and
love
that can
that
be
you said
applied in so many different ways.
I curse too much. I tried to keep this one PG, but that's what we teach our kids in sports as you play. Be a good teammate, just like ours. I have my show off team. You have your team. Be a good teammate. Don't be a hole. And I think people respect that. They see how hard you work. They see you as a husband and as a parent and as a MC for us to build the show. I think they respect that. It might not just be about the EV space. Come out there, work your ass off, treat everybody kindly, same way they did for us. I had shout out to RJ De Vera and Mommy, and even Craig Lieberman, who, Fast and Furious. Those guys opened the door for us. And like you said, you were I think he said a college dropout. I didn't go to college.
Junior college.
I
Junior
was
college
too
dropout.
dumb. Jarod, no lie. 12 credits. That's it. I went to work for my dad. And people always ask us, how did you guys get to where you are? We are very blessed, but we work hard. I tell Colin, we don't lose. You have to do for your partners. I'm sure you would do anything for FD, for Jim and Ryan, for
Yep.
Ford. We go. That's what we do. And that's what I want to teach the people who come to Showoff, our families. Hey, just work your tail off. Don't be an a-hole. Respect those who come before us. Respect those who are going to come after us, because they're going to continue the torch. So for sure. I love that saying. I didn't want to say it, but he said it. He said it for sure.
He said it, and rightfully so. And again, he's I've learned a lot from his passing, and just how much of an impact somebody can make, just being themselves, which I love it.
By being a good person. Yes, sir.
Yep. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Neil. It's always great to talk to you. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you either at Formula Drift Irwindale or Electrify Expo or wherever, man. But we're always around, and yeah, don't be a stranger. But thank you so much again. Electrify Showoff at Electrify Expo. 2 more rounds of 2 more stops of the Electrify Expo, talking about that. And again, should be really exciting. Florida and Austin at COTA, Circuit of the Americas, baby. Let's go. I'm trying to brand this thing. You know how people say, let's go. And I know that's a big saying in sports.
Your send it is your favorite.
Let's no, it's even better. Let's leave. Let's leave. Because like, why do you want to go? Like, let's just leave. Let's just leave.
On to the next one.
Thanks for listening to the Electrify podcast, brought to you by the creators of Electrify Expo. Be sure to catch full video episodes on YouTube at Electrify TV and follow along on social media for daily clips and more.